Everybody give it up for the reason you came out here tonight. Brian Kuntz, everybody!
How's it going? I just want to start by saying that I love Justin Bieber. I don't understand why everyone's talking about how he's a douchebag. Like, his music is awesome. I get laid to it all the time. Like, that music, you don't understand how fast a 14-year-old pants will drop. But it's good to see everyone's like actually staying around and having a good time. I was outside smoking my cigarette before I came up, and this kid comes out and just projectile vomited everywhere. Like, don't worry, he didn't get his shoes. It's good. He had a gallon of milk, so I don't know if he was doing the challenge or what, but yeah, in public, that's where you do it. But it was almost as awkward as like an arranged makeout session. And it seems weird, but I've actually been part of one of these. Wasted one night with my good friend, and we started making out or whatever, and the next day, she's like, yeah, I hope you liked it, because you won't get that again. And I was like, well, it doesn't matter, you sucked ass. And she really did. She was sucking my face. I don't know what she was doing. And so, I mean, it shot her ego down so much the rest of the day. She was tripping about this, like, oh my God, am I really that bad? And we're at work, and she comes up to me, and she's like, all right, after work, just come over, and I'll prove to you I'm not a bad kisser. I said, all right. But then, it started hitting me that, like, I'm going there because I told her that she was a shitty kisser, and so now she's going to be judging me on how I kiss. And I don't usually think about whether I'm good at kissing or not when it happens, because it just happens. You just go with it. But we're sitting there in the room awkwardly, just staring at each other and drinking our beer. Just like, okay, when do we start? And then, once we were about to start it, like, you don't know what to do. Your hands start getting, like, clammy, and it's like, do you touch her? Because, I mean, how does this makeout session work? And turns out she was actually a really good kisser, and I should have known it because of her track record. Like, she's in the 70s. I'm still in the singles. But, no, things like this didn't happen for me in the past. Like, let me tell you a little bit about my childhood. When I grew up, like, my childhood was filled with fried chicken, pizza, and Burger King. Like, I was a fatty, over 200 pounds in 6th grade. I eat so much fast food, greasy food, like, that even nowadays, like, I cannot leave a hickey on a girl. I just leave zits. But not to mention, I didn't have a sense of fashion whatsoever. My parents were poor, and they were not afraid to reflect that off of us kids. I had shit nasty sweatpants, god-awful shirts. I had pictures, people, until someone left them next to the pizza and I ate them. But, like, I got my clothes from Goodwill, which is kind of cool because when I was a kid, like, all the other kids would make fun of each other, like, you get your clothes at Walmart, you're such a loser. I was so poor I never heard of Walmart. I'd been to a Kmart once, the parking lot, while my mom bought a bag. It was meth, and no, we're not from Butte, we have class. And yeah, my mom may have had a drug addiction, but you would too if you had to deal with my dad's ex-wife. I hit the peak of my fashion career in 5th grade, I think it was. Like, it was my birthday, we went to Goodwill, and my mom was like, you know what? Here you go, Brian, for your birthday, $5. And I was excited. Okay, so $5 doesn't seem like that much, but it's Goodwill, so that's like $20, $30 at Walmart. And so I was like really excited, like, yes, I can finally get something. And like I was going, looking at all the sticky syringe-filled toys, and I was like, I don't want none of this. And I was like, no, Brian, it's time to get up with the fashion. So I went to the clothes, because I'm going to find something stylish at Goodwill. And I was like flipping through the hangers, and that's when I saw it. It was like a gift from God. Like, he wanted me to have this shirt. And I'll tell you what this shirt looked like. It was all black, and in the middle of it, it had an upside-down triangle, and inside this triangle was the Space Needle. And I'm from Washington, so that was really cool. And then around the triangle was rainbow colors. Now, in case anyone doesn't know, this is like the gay pride symbol of Seattle. And I'm just like, this shirt is so fucking cool, all the kids will love it. And so I get this shirt, and I run up, and I'm like, Mom, I'm going to get this. And my mom paid so close attention to me that she was like, yeah, Brian, you should definitely get that and wear it to school. Like, and so I wore this shirt for like a week straight at school. All the kids loved it. They're pointing at me, laughing, because they're so happy to see one of their peers in great clothing. And at the end of the week, my teacher pulls me aside, and she was like, Brian, you do realize that's a gay pride shirt. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Makes so much sense now. That's why all the kids hated me before and they like me now. You know, they were all gay and once I came out. But, and then she tells me, she's like, Brian, I'm gonna have to ask you to change that shirt. Not because she was a homophobe, but because I've been wearing it for a week and it was covered in grease stains from the fried chicken and pizza and sweat stains from walking. And, but, gym class was my favorite activity, definitely, as with most fat people. I'm pretty sure that gym teachers get a bonus at the end of the year for every kid that get to kill themselves. Like, I was made fun of by other kids, but seriously, the gym teacher was probably the worst. You know, we have to do pull-ups. And he's like, come on, fatty, you can get it. Come on, just pull up a little higher. And I'm like, yeah, you try pulling up 200 pounds when you're 10. Jesus. Like, fucking dick. But I started thinking about my past when one of my friends, she like brought out this memory box and she was like, oh, look at it. It was a box filled with all these knickknacks and all these things like that reminded her of cool ass things. And I got sad because I have nothing like that. I was like, shit, you know, I suck. Then it hit me. I have an underwear drawer full of skid marks and a story behind every single one of them. I could see pulling them out for people, you know, and it's like, oh, check this one out. This is from the first mile I ran. You know, and it's covered in shit. And because I don't know if you know this, but when fat people run, they shit themselves, and that's actually why they don't run. It's not because they get tired. It's nasty. Or like my first date, you know, pulling it out. Yeah, there's a little blood in there. I was a little nervous. But I finally got tired of being fat a year ago, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this, you know. And so like, I was like, I'm gonna lose weight, which sounded like a great idea, but it was a fucking nightmare. All right, like there I was, over 300 pounds, happy as can be, funny as shit. Everyone loved me. Yeah, I was a virgin, but let me tell you, you can get a lot of shit done when you're not chasing tail. I was financially stable, emotionally stable, and I had a level 72 Blood Elf Mage. Nobody fucked with my shit. But, so, like, I tried so many diets, like, you know, Atkins, meth, Weight Watchers. Nothing worked for me. And so, like any sane fat person, I jumped on Google and started searching for eating disorders. And, you know, like, I went for, I'm kind of lazy, so I went for the easier ones out of the list, like, because there's some weird eating disorders, like people that just eat shit, or like piss, and stuff like that, and I just wasn't going to do that, and I didn't see how it was going to help me lose weight. But, because I eat just as much of it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for the easiest diet here. And anorexia seemed like the easiest. Like, don't eat food. How hard can that be? Yeah, it was tough. I was doing really good though. Like, I was kicking ass but I was so hungry. I mean, it's pretty bad when you're watching Human Centipede and you're envious of the guy ass to mouth because he's eating. So finally, after 6 hours, I said, fuck it, and I made some sloppy joes and finished my movie. But after anorexia, I was like, all right, bulimia, that's my next step. Or as I like to call it, the quick finger diet. Quicker you get the fingers in the back of the throat, quicker you lose weight. Great diet. Like, it is amazing. I think everyone should try it. And there's something about, like, your stomach just hurting that tells you this is working. But there should be a disclaimer to bulimia. You know, the professionals tell you you should throw up after every meal. What they don't tell you is you shouldn't consider going down on a chick as a meal. Things get nasty, people get nasty, shit gets said. And you're just like, I don't know how you're not into this. I know people are into some weird shit. I've seen 2 Girls, 1 Cup. And yes, Ryan was one of the girls from that video. But don't worry, it didn't change how we thought about him. He was always a nasty, shit-eating bitch in our eyes. Stumbled on that, sorry. But, September 4th, 2011 was a day that I will never forget. Like, on this day, I could see that my working out had finally paid off. Because for the first time since I was 10, I could see my wiener just looking down. You know, I didn't need a mirror or anything. And it was like glorious. I was like so happy, just filled with excitement. And then I took a double take. And I was so sad. I realized this is why all my girlfriends have been cheating on me. Like, damn. But, How many people here are married? Anybody? Yeah, well, oh, I'm sorry. I've been married once, I had a wife. But she was terrible with all her womanly duties. She didn't cook, clean. I'd come out of the bathroom and I'd be like, oh my god, I just blew that shit up worse than Hiroshima. And I'm pretty sure there's blood in there, so I don't know what you've been putting in the food, but it needs to stop. And she starts crying, oh, Brian, I want to go back to Russia. My friends say I shouldn't be too pissed because I got her for a good price, $389.97, plus shipping and handling, so about $450. But what really pissed me off about the whole thing is they have a non-refundable policy on clearance items. And you can't just send her back because if you don't open the box, they allow you to send it back. But if you send it back and she's dead, that sucks. Like, you don't get any money. So just let her out, fed her. But I don't really see the point in relationships, If I wanted to constantly be questioned about where I was last night, bitched at, and not get sex, I'd still live at my mom's house. But I love you, Mom. Someone got a drink? Anyways, went a little hard there. Didn't bring a drink up. But the thing I love about relationships is how girls rush into it so fast and so stupidly. They'll get married just quick as shit. Yeah, guys do it too, but we're guys. We don't think about what we just did. We're just thinking about what's going to get us laid. And so we're like, oh, okay, yeah, let's get married, But a chick, they claim to be smarter than us. But yet they'll rush into a relationship with a douchebag who'll cheat on her and hopefully after 2 years leave her. And, needless to say, thank you, there were signs from the beginning, okay? When you're like, oh my god, he was so good to me. He was just, I don't understand. He never did drugs, he never drank, he didn't cheat on me, but now that's all he does. How was I supposed to see this coming? I mean, it was as soon as he got off probation, he went crazy. How was I supposed to know? But I love the new fad that's out there right now for 16-year-old girls, to get pregnant. And it makes a lot of sense. You're 15, 16, your life is so rough, you don't have bills, responsibilities, and the only light in your life is your 18-year-old boyfriend. I mean, yeah, he doesn't have a job, he still lives at his parents, and he didn't graduate high school, but you love him. And he loves you too. I mean, sure, he cheated on you with your best friend, but that's not his fault. She's a slut. And so now you're pregnant because you lied about using birth control, poking holes in the condom, and your life is going to be so much better now because there's no way your 18-year-old boyfriend is just going to run. He's just going to embrace that and be like, yes. But what made me notice this was 16 and pregnant. Did you guys know they pay $200,000 to those girls to be on an episode of that? No wonder all these girls are getting knocked up. That's money. And as soon as I heard this, I was down at the high school looking for a 15-year-old. I was like, we're going to get this done, and we're going to make some money, babe. And picking up high school girls is kind of tough, but if you know the tricks, it's not that hard. There's a few key things to have in mind. No goals. You don't want to have a future. They don't like that. You can't be cool, really. I mean, you're kind of cool because you're broke. And you have to remind them of their dad. If you do that, you kick ass. My problem is I don't really remind anyone of their dad, so I have to look for the girls with mom issues. But I want to just say that chicks need dick. All chicks do, and otherwise they go crazy. And I know this because my roommate, who is crazy, kind of, she will randomly just freak out about her boyfriend, oh my god, he is such a piece of shit. I'm done with him. And it's oh, why? Did he cheat or do this and that? No, he just, I don't know, I'm just done with him. He doesn't say anything right. He's just, And then he comes back into town from the 3-day vacation he was on, and they fuck, and all of a sudden everything's great again. She's like, oh, he's the best. 2 days later, he's such a piece of shit. And girls, when they're in this state of mind, they get nasty. They say the worst things to you about his manhood, or to their friends, or his parents. It's bad. But this is the reason I stay away from dating. But I did go on a date a while back. I went to Billings for a show there, and I went on a date with this girl, and I should have known the date was fucked from the minute she pulled out her iPhone. There's nothing more demasculating Like, I mean, I had bigger tits than her, so I was pretty demasculating, but, like, this was really bad, because she whips out her iPhone, she's GPSing, video chatting with her friends, playing games. I, like, pull my, like, Walmart phone out and turning the volume up and turning it down, pretending I'm taking a picture or something. And, like, her phone fucking hated me, too. Like, it knew I was a piece of shit. We went out to eat, and, like, when we get to billing, she, like, says to her phone, she's like, nearest restaurants, and it was like, cheapest restaurants, McDonald's, 3.4 miles. I'm like, oh, thanks. And then after dinner, you know, we go out and we're trying to find this club that everything was happening at, so she puts in the address, and I shit you not, it took us all through Billings and like front door of the clinic. I'm just like, I don't know what your phone's trying to tell you, but I am clean, I swear. Turns out her phone was trying to tell me something. But the date wasn't a total loss, because at the end of the night they had alcohol, and that just saved everything. Like, I love alcohol. It, like, reminds me of the relationship I had with my grandma. Like, boosts my confidence, makes me feel like I can do anything I put my mind to. Then the next morning I wake up next to a nasty old bitch. Like, yes, I slept with my grandma, but, you know, you're just jealous because you didn't have a close relationship with yours. You know, alcohol to me is like spinach to Popeye. Shortly after consumption, things start to swell, confidence boost. Then I beat the shit out of that hairy fat bastard that's trying to tell me how to live my life. Needless to say, my girlfriend has a restraining order on me. But it's not my fault, okay? I blame it on the native in my blood. Like, because when we drink, we go back to our childhood, when it's okay to knock the teeth out of the kid that's talking shit every day and stealing your lunch money. It didn't really hurt her business, though. Like, the lack of teeth helped on the corner. Customers loved it. And alcohol can be really cool. It can, like, get you into awesome situations. Like, you know, you're out drinking with some people, and I was out one night and ended up leaving with these two girls, and I'm just like, yes, I'm getting head at least, maybe. And, like, we're just going, and then we get to the house, and they, like, sit on the couch, and they're like, come sit with us, Brian. I'm like, all right, sweet. Sitting between them. Next thing you know, one just passes out, and the other one's just, like, geeking out. It was tough, I'm sorry. I didn't really work on that joke, I just wanted Fallon to know I was talking about her. The thing I hate about drinking, though, the worst, isn't, like, mistakes you make or anything like that. It's when you start to sober up during sex. Like, you know I bring home nasty bitches. Like, that's okay. Like, I'm drunk and that's my excuse. But what sucks is, you know, you get whiskey dick, which can be cool. You're like, I'm lasting forever, and she's loving it for a second. And then, like, what sucks is when you're just really going at it, and you're starting to sweat, and you're just sweating all the alcohol out, and then all of a sudden she starts to become clear, and you're like, oh, this Yeti beast. And, like, at this point, it's like going up to a street sign, or a street light, you know, and it's, like, still green, but the crosswalks are flashing, so you know it's about to turn yellow, and you're kind of checking where you're at, and you're like, okay, if it turns yellow, am I going to speed up, or am I just going to stop for the light? And, like, you know, I'm a pretty nasty guy, so I just floor it. And oh, alcohol. It's so much fun. Sorry. So alcohol can lead to really cool things out there, actually, or really interesting things. It can lead to mistakes like myself or Fallon or that guy. And, like, or it can lead to an alcohol addiction that can make your life as cool as mine, poor and homeless. In which, you know, it can be an exciting thing because, like, if you're homeless, all you have to do is just throw a sign and all the stupid people of Walmart will pay you as they leave. So all the customers of Walmart will actually pay you. And, but, like, being homeless is an amazing job that's, like, kind of underrated. I think they hide it for a good reason. They don't want everyone doing it. But, like, here's some keys, like, to being homeless and why it kicks ass. Okay, key one, you don't ever have to change your clothes or get ready for work. You just get up and you're like, fuck. You're still hungover from your addiction. You know, the money you got the last day, you bought that. And you go out there and you just have to just stand there with a sign. No matter how fucked up you are, it's cool. And then key 2, after you finish that case of beer you buy at the end of the day, you just cut the box up, flip it inside out, write a little note, and then, that's what you throw your sign. But this is where people mess up, okay? Because people go with a sign that's like, I'm hungry, help me, I'm starving. Nobody gives a fuck, okay? If you're really hurting, nobody, cares. Maybe the Mormons pretend to, but we know where their beliefs really lie. And so, but, what you gotta do is you gotta be creative. You gotta have the sign that's like, I didn't rape this girl, give me money. And people will be like, oh, that's kind of funny. Or just things like that. You could go home with a good amount of cash. And I'm sure that wouldn't work every day, but you could just go from one trucker, blow a trucker, get to another town. And, and if you have a talent, that really kicks ass. You could play the guitar or sing. Even if you don't have one of those talents, just come up with there's always something with somebody that they can do better than other people. Maybe you can fart on command. Put that on the poster, just I will fart for $1. And people will be like, dude, let's check that out. Let's give him $1. And he farts and they're like, dude, what'll happen if we give him 10? Maybe he'll shit his pants. But I think hot chicks should actually just go out and throw a sign. I don't understand why they don't. If you think about it, you just go out there in Daisy Dukes, tank top. You don't have to look shitty. Look hot. And just stand there with a sign that says, need money. I guarantee you so many people will pull up just to give you money. Guys are going to be like, I have a chance to get laid. Yeah, she'll see this 5 or this 20 and she'll want to get in my car. It's the closest thing to prostitution or stripping without having to take off your clothes or blow a cop. But life as a woman cannot be that bad. I know this actually because I was once a woman. I have a female character on World of Warcraft. And so I know life is easy because I, just for all the geeks out there, she was a blood elf mage, rocking curves, sexy blonde hair. God. And, I realized this pretty early on that, when you're, going through dungeons, guys would, talk to me, you're cute. And I'd be like, thank you. This is my first time ever playing WoW. I'm just having so much fun. Oh, you're so strong. Oh my gosh, you killed him in no time. I bet you're rich. And they're just yeah. And they're, giving you shit, all this gold, and, just everything. It works on geeks, too. They love it. And you can't just only go for male characters because really, if you think about it, these geeks are on here 24/7 playing this game. They're not going to want to stare at a guy running around the whole time. They're going to make a chick, and they can stare at that. So you got to flirt with the girls too, and it's good to throw in that you're 16. They love that. Just oh, I'm 16 with my sister. She's watching. Oh, we just kissed. They love it. They will hook it up, but it only works for so long. Well. If you're level 50, obviously you're not new to this, and blah, blah, blah. So then I came up with this thing where I started making new female characters, and I'd flirt with guys, and I'd get money, and all this equipment, and then I'd send it to my main character. So yes, people, I did have a successful, prostitution ring on World of Warcraft. It worked. But, so, I myself like to have a lot of sex. And with any recreational activity, the more risks involved, the more fun it is, right? So I like to have multiple partners, and the more cold sores she's got, yes. and I don't like protection. I don't see the point in it. Why do I want to put something on my dick that's going to take away the pleasure? If I didn't want the pleasure of having sex, I wouldn't have sex, and I'd just sit on my computer all day and jerk off to cartoon porn. But that's not to say I don't have protection. Okay, I'm not stupid. I know my lifestyle runs the risk of a pregnant hooker. So I like to keep on myself my handy-dandy metal clothes hanger. Not to hang up my suits, but to ward off evil demon babies. And a hanger can be used for so many other things, too. Maybe you lock your keys in your car and you can just Jimmy rig in there. And maybe your girlfriend locks you out of the house and you gotta get back in. Use that to put around your hand and bust the window. But before I'm done here, I actually want to tell you guys this awesome game that I learned. I was on this date with this girl one time, okay? And she... Alright, I'm just checking the crowd here for a second, see if they can handle it. And she tells me about this game, and it's fucking amazing. You know how when you punch people and you see a slug bug? her girlfriends do it when they see black people. Like, nobody's laughing but this guy. Which is awesome because that makes so much sense. And like, but she tells me this game, and there's even a point system to it. I'm not going to tell you the point system because she didn't even want me to tell you guys her game. She wanted it to be a secret. So, and like, we're in Olive Garden. We're sitting there, and there's this rich white family to our left, and like all of a sudden they pull out a black baby out of nowhere, and both of us look over and then shoot back at each other. She's like, "Brian, we're in a public place." I reach over the table, start punching her. Like, I think that they probably have a game like this down south, you know, opposite. Only I doubt they punch each other when they see a white guy. They probably just shoot him. But like, the best part about this is how none of the white people in the room laughed, because I tell this joke to like the people I worked with at Walmart and stuff. I'm like, "Oh, check out this game," and all the white people are like, "Dude, that's fucked up. That's messed up, man." And then I tell like the Mexicans or the Asians, they're like, "Dude, that is awesome, yeah." Like, stereotypes. Like, I'm not racist. I just love stereotypes. They're beautiful. But yeah. So it's okay to laugh at racist jokes, you guys. They're just jokes. But yeah, so before I leave, I want to give you some advice that I give every time I do stand up. And that's when you're really wasted at the end of the night and you're going to take that random ass bitch home, wear a condom. Like, I know I don't, and I say not to usually, but you know, you should. Because, you know, guys, you don't know what this chick might have. And girls, you're like, "Oh, you know, I just want to have fun. I don't really care." Then 9 months later, bam, your bastard child's born to a promiscuous mother who doesn't even know the name of the guy she let flop around on top of her that night. And this is how I was created, and I'm pretty fucked. Don't do it to yourself, you're kids. Have a good night, you guys.
Brian Kuntz, everybody.